Hey everyone, we are super excited about you all starting your 50/30 lab experience during pre-planning and the first few days of school. Such an awesome experience and opportunity to learn about what it means to form a classroom community and plan curriculum and instruction and be part of a school community, building relationships with kids, seeing how to start off with routines and all that stuff related to classroom management. So while we were thinking about all these things you're going to be learning, you're going to be learning so many new ideas of things to do. We wanted to find a way for you to capture those ideas. The purpose of this that we're going to show you now is both for you to have a singular place where you can capture all of these ideas you're going to be learning, and also a way for us to see the sorts of things that you are thinking about while you're in the beginning stages of this practicum experience in 50/30. We will be looking at, so let me back that thing up. So what we're going to be asking you to do is to collect your thinking using a website through Google Sites. And we will be looking at your website throughout the next few weeks before our first day of class to try to give us a sense of kind of what's been on your mind, and it'll help us shape our class and stuff like that. So what you're going to have, each of you will have a website, and I'm going to show you after I'm done orienting you to this sample site, how to build this. But you'll name your website whatever you would like. That's, of course, appropriate. And here is our home page. Your website's going to be designed the same way. You're going to have a home page and then 3 C's: classroom management, community, and curriculum and lesson planning. So those are separate pages. On your home page, it'll be set up kind of like ours. Here we've used this as a place to write down a welcome and some directions. You will be using this to capture big, broad ideas. So be sure, please, to read through all this. It's saying that you're going to have the site, homepage, and the 3C sites or pages. The minimum requirement for this task is for you to complete at least 3 posts on the homepage and to put at least 5 ideas on each of the 3 C's pages. And I'll show you what those will look like in a second. This should be done by August 16th at 8 p.m. The idea here is for you to be posting and adding ideas as you go. Please do not wait until the 16th to do it, because that kind of defeats the purpose. The purpose of this really is for it to be a live document and place for you to be capturing ideas as you're thinking of them and seeing them. On your home page, you're going to use that to chronicle your broad thoughts during pre-planning. So this is kind of like if you go to a blog, they have like their home page where they're giving, their thoughts of the day or whatever. Here are some ideas to get you thinking, but you can write about anything you'd like on this home page. So some examples would be like, what happened that helped you think differently about the school community, the behind the scenes workings of a school. What are you learning about yourself as a teacher, as a listener? What's life like as a student in your class? How are the teachers planning collaboratively? And like really anything. What's surprising you? What's exciting? What's scary? Whatever. So the homepage is a place where you will be posting just these kind of broad reflections on your experience. Then you have these 3 C's up here. And here you will post specific ideas about community, curriculum, and classroom management. And I'll look at the pages with you. Well, actually, I'll do that now. Let's look at the pages for specific instructions. So you'll name a page classroom management. And here we just went ahead and posted a first post to show you some examples. I'll show you that in a second. I wish I could edit this, but I can't, so I'm just going to keep rolling with it. On your classroom management page, you will add any ideas obviously related to classroom management. And as we talked about last semester, classroom management is more than just a behavior plan. It's more than about discipline and how students are punished or given consequences. It really is anything that helps a classroom run smoothly so that children learn. And so here are a bunch of ideas of things that relate to classroom management. So if you see your teacher doing a really cool attention getter, post that here. If you see your teacher giving instructions in an interesting way, or you just want to remember, how he did it, write that down here. Transitions, etc. So this is a place for you to write down any sort of reflections, ideas you have on classroom management. Since you're going to be there the very first week of school, hopefully you will be in classrooms where teachers are teaching procedures and routines and expectations. So this is a really awesome place to be capturing like all of these cool ideas for how teachers are like dealing with absent students and making up work or turning in work or when they need to use the bathroom or when there's a fire drill or all of these bajillion things that teachers deal with. If you want some more ideas of classroom routines to be thinking about, there's a link here. So on this page, those are the things you'll post. What you'll do, and I'll show you how to do it in a second, but you'll start a new post by writing the date, then just write your post, which will say more than blah, blah, blah. Okay, then we have community. So on your community page, you want to capture any ideas related to the classroom community, building relationships with kids, building relationships with other teachers, school community. So this could be like if you find a cool idea for learning students' names, any sorts of get to know you activities, introducing yourself to the class. We are going to require that you all introduce yourselves to the class, and that will be included in the email I send out here in a little bit. How the community contexts influence middle grade students. So you all thought a lot about that in 5010. What are you noticing about the community context in which you're working and how that's influencing your kids? Gosh, y'all, anything at all related to community here. And again, you will just post that with the date and then your post, whatever your idea is. The last section is curriculum and lesson planning. So here you want to think big picture in terms of planning, like maybe your teacher, you might hear them talking about units or months or big topics, those kind of big idea things, as well as the nitty-gritty things about standards-based lessons. So how are they designing their lessons? And so some of those could be, hooks you're seeing, daily openers, cool standards-based lessons you might want to use this year. So if you're online and you're finding cool lessons, URLs, just post those URLs in here. We talked also a lot last semester about formative and summative assessment. So if you're coming up with cool ideas or hearing cool ideas for any of those sorts of assessment, throw those in here as well. This is just a place for you to capture ideas that are going to be helpful to you throughout the next year. Let's see if there's anything else in here. Instructional strategies, so like how are they actually teaching the content? So if you're seeing that your teacher's doing something really cool instead of just lecture, like write that down. What did they do? How did they explain it to the students? How did it work out? And again, you'll just put your date here and post it. I'm going to go back to the home page. So this, again, the requirement is that you will post at least 3 posts on the home page. So those are your big broad thoughts about just thinking about being a teacher, being in pre-planning, and at least 5 posts on each of these pages. So let's do the math here. 5 times 3 is 18 plus 3. I already did the math. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 3 is 18. So a total of 18 posts. Hopefully, this is a place where you want to write down a lot of ideas anyways, and you're not as concerned with the minimum requirements. Okay, so a couple little guidelines here. Feel free to include images or videos. So if you include one of those, just include a blurb to explain why you put it there. So if you see something really cool in the school you want to take a picture of, feel free to post that. Just explain like why you posted it and why it's important. This is really important. Since Google Sites are public domain, even though hopefully you'll set it so that it's not publicly searchable, but nevertheless, it's not a safe quote unquote space. You need to use pseudonyms for all teachers, students, including your school name, your place name. Please don't include your county, the name of your school, mascots, anything like that. Also, don't post any pictures of students or teachers. So we want to make this as anonymous as possible. Now, next year, we're going to ask you to continue using the notebook that you started last year, the notebook you kept in class where you're writing down a lot of ideas. If you would prefer to just keep writing all of your ideas down in the notebook you started last year, please feel free to do that. We don't want to make this like an extra thing in addition to that if the notebook is working for you right now. The reason we're asking this to be online is so that we can see it live while you're posting it, while you're in pre-planning, because we're not going to see you for like 3 weeks. So if you're writing in your notebook, Feel free to take a picture of your notebook pages and upload those. Just make sure that it's big enough that we can read it without having to zoom in. And again, the requirements are there. There's a little bit of nitty gritty about your when you publish your page, and why don't we look at that now? I think what I'm going to do is stop recording this and record a separate video for how to make this page. And in that video, I will show you how to do the domain name.